Good. Again, fingertips starting down. We reach our fingertips out in front of us. Reach those arms up to the ceiling. Take a big deep breath all the way in. Exhale, slowly lower the arms all the way back and down to your hips. Stay upright the whole time. Good. Reach those fingertips out in front of you. Reach them all the way up to the ceiling. Reach them behind you. Again, exhale. Breathe and lower your hands all the way back down. And let's just do one more of those, okay? So reach the fingertips all the way out in front, up to the ceiling. Kind of just feel it where you're feeling this in your body. I want you to feel your shoulder blades move. I want you to feel your arm bones move in your sockets up there, okay? Now I want you to put your hands onto your rib cage, and we're gonna do our breathing while we're standing today, okay? So I just want you to take a deep breath all the way in through your ribs. Feel your rib cage move out to the sides. Long, full and complete exhale. Fully and completely all the way out from your out from your ribs, out from your lungs, okay? So again, let's just take a few more deep breaths. Deep breath all the way in. Move your ribs out to the sides of the room. Long exhale, slowly, fully, and completely. And let's just do one more. Every time you exhale that air all the way out, I want you to think about where we feel this in our body, okay? I want your ribs to kind of be pulling in, that knitting of the ribs, that dropping of the belly button into the spine, that feeling of that low belly pulling up without tucking our pelvis, okay? Keep the pelvis in that neutral spine. Once we exhale the air all the way out, we're now going to have our arms come up into 90 degrees, okay? So 90 degrees with those arms. Good. All we're going to do is rotate our arm bones open out to the sides. Good. I want you to kind of open them broad right here. So you feel that nice stretch through our chest right here. Then reach them all the way back, closed in front. And again, open out to the sides. Really think about your elbows pulling wide, not your wrists, but really think about the elbows reaching out wide towards the sides of the room that way and pulling behind you just a little bit. And back to the front. And again, think about what we're doing with our ribs. Think about the arms are a connection to the rest of our body. We have to think about our arms are being moved from our back muscles and from our front core muscles, okay? So let's just do one more. A nice big stretch out and forward. Now everyone's gonna grab the towels or grab that scarf. And this is gonna be really the only time we use it is at the beginning of class right now. We're going to hold palms down, okay? And if you're holding your circle, that's totally fine as well, but you're holding your circle right here, okay? So with that scarf or with your towel, just hold those arms straight out in front. Now we're going to be lifting and lowering our arms again, but I want you to think about what's going on with our ribs, okay? I want you to keep your ribs pulled flush down with your body, lower that towel all the way slowly down to your hips. Now reach it out in front of you. Now pause right here. I do want you putting tension on this, okay? I do want you pulling slightly into it, not trying to rip it in half, but trying to just kind of put a little bit of pressure into it. Now reach your knuckles up and overhead towards the ceiling. Think about what your ribs are doing. Are your ribs now splaying out in front? I don't want them doing that anymore. Now lower your arms out in front of you. Lower your hands down to your hips. Out in front again. And do the same thing. Reach them all the way up to the ceiling. Pull those shoulders actively down your back. Pull your ribs flush down with your body. Lowering and lifting those arms all the way down. Wide collarbones. And one more time. Reach all the way up to the ceiling. And then lowering down. Good. Now I want you to pause with the arms straight out in front of you. And all you're going to do is row the arms in towards your chest. Then extend those arms out in front. When you row in, I want your arms narrow to your body, and I want you to create kind of, it's like a chicken wing back. Okay? We're not going out to the sides. They're in narrow to your body. Again, out, pull back in. And now this shouldn't feel super hard right now, you guys, but I want you to think where we feel this is from in between your shoulder blades, okay? I want you to try to get your back muscles engaged just a little bit right here as we do this. So out and pulling in. And let's just do two more. And last one, out and in. Now you're going to walk your hands a little bit more narrow on your scarf. So, okay, there's still about a fist distance between them. The hands are not all the way together. Now you're going to reach your arms straight out in front. Now, we have to be really careful right here to not let our ribs go, not let our back arch. I want you to reach your arms up to the ceiling. I'm going to kneel down so you guys can see me, but you don't need to kneel down. We're just going to bend our elbows to send that towel behind your head. and extend the arms back up to the ceiling. Bend and straighten. Good. Keep on going, bending down, straightening back up. Good. Now we should feel this starting to warm up our triceps just a little bit, okay? This should not be hard, okay? This should just be nice and easy. Bending and straightening. Good. So the theme of today is going to be we're going to touch on everything a little bit, but we're going to be focusing on our arms, our shoulders, and our back muscles, okay? But we will get our abs and we will get our legs too. One more time. Send the arms up to the ceiling. Are your shoulders still down your back? Lower your arms all the way down in front of you. You're going to flip your grip on your towel. Your palms are going to reach up to the ceiling and you're going to slide your hands out a little bit more so that they're in line with your shoulders, okay? So elbows, wrists, shoulders are all in line. Again, we're doing that same thing where we send our arms out in front. You reach your arms up to the ceiling, shoulders stay down your back. You lower your hands all the way down, back in front of you, all the way down next to the hips. Keep the collarbones really wide, slide the shoulders down your back. Again, deep breath in as we lift. Long exhale as we lower. And let's just do one more. Reach the arms up to the ceiling. Still pull those ribs flush down with your body. And pause the arms now out in front, straight out to me. We are now going to bicep curl in and away. Now I want you again to be pulling tension on this as we do this, okay? So in and out. Keep on breathing. Keep the belly still pulling in. Keep the ribs still pulling in. Let's just do two more. One more. And good. We're going to lie all the way flat down now on our mats. Good. And you're still going to be holding on to your towel, okay? So we still have that towel lying flat down. You're going to hold it palms down towards your hips, okay? So palms are down, shoulders are down your back. All we're going to be doing is reaching those arms up and overhead towards the back of your room. And as you exhale, lower your hands all the way down next to your hips. Again, inhale as we reach up and over. Exhale as we lower all the way back and down. And let's just do two more. Up and over slowly. Feel your shoulder blades moving. Feel what your ribs are doing. I don't want your ribs splaying open. I don't want your shoulder blades moving across the mat at all either. Okay, so we're trying to really move our arm bones right here without allowing anything else to move in the rest of our bodies. Okay, so all the way up and over, all the way down to the hips. Now you're going to put your scarf down, okay? So that's gonna go away. We're not gonna use it at all anymore. We are now going to keep our knees bent. Our fingertips reach up to the ceiling. And now I want you to lower your hands all the way down next to your hips, okay? So hands are pressing into the sides of your legs, and we did this same variation last week. We're curling up, looking into our belly button, and we're going to slide our hands behind our legs to help us to lift all the way up to seated. Okay, so stack all the way up tall, stay lifted. The hands are behind your thighs. I want you to lift up really, really tall right here, okay? Now when we begin rounding down, we're rounding down from the low belly first, and we begin rounding all the way down to the mat. Now I want your knees separated right here, okay? So if you have to put like a block or a ball between your knees in order to keep them separated, that's okay, but I want about a fist distance between your knees. Deep breath all the way in. Long, full, and complete exhale. Your hands are here to help you to come all the way up to seated. Good, and again, stacking up tall. Let's just do two more like this. Rounding down to the mat, staying lifted. Now pause. Now make sure that you are not slumped down in your back and dumping into your low back. I want you lifted, but still in a C curve. You're still rounded. Good, now round all the rest of the way down. So remember, when we're rolling up and down, we're not leading from our low back. Okay, so curled up again. Now pause at your C curve. Pause right at your 100 curl. You're right at your shoulder blades. I do not want you puffing or dumping your low back into the mat now as we lift the rest of the way up. And let's do one more of those. Okay, so lift it up really, really tall. And now rounding down. Now you pause. When you round under, I want us to think you round under from your tailbone first, but it's not a sink. It's not a slump down. You're still lifted. Now keep rounding down. Keep rounding, keep rounding. My hands are pressing into my thighs right here in order to help me get a little bit more use of my lats underneath my armpits. Now one more time, all the way up to seated. Use your exhale, use the breath to help you lift up. Stack up tall. Reach the fingertips out in front. Now, before we start moving, I want you to create resistance between your hands right here, okay? I want you to imagine that you're holding something out there in space, okay? Not from our chest muscles, but from those muscles underneath our armpits. Now, stay really lifted. And again, rounding all the way down to the mat. Good. If you need extra support doing this, you can always put your hands onto your thighs, and that's totally fine, okay? So we don't need to have the fingertips out in front. We want to make it a little bit nicer. Just have the hands connect to the legs. Reach the fingertips up and overhead. When the fingertips reach up to the ceiling, curl up, look into your belly button, and round to lift all the way up to seated. Stack up tall, and we're going to do that 2 more times. Rounding all the way down. If you would like to make it more challenging, your fingertips can reach up to the ceiling as we lower down to the mat. Remember the rest of your form though that we talked about right here, okay? So as you exhale, curl up, look into your belly button, pause at your shoulder blades, pause right here for a second, you guys. Now when we lift up, I don't want you putting your weight into the outsides or insides of your feet, okay? I want you to keep your foot, both feet, not just one, all the way down onto the mat as we do this. Stacking it tall. And let's do one more. Rounding down. Good. Create resistance between the hands again. Lift up and over with the hands. Use your exhale to round and reach all the way up to seated. Now pause, seated right here. We're going to do some rowing. Okay, so first I want your legs to go all the way straight right here. Good, and if they can't go straight, you can always fold your mat under and sit on top of your mat, or you can bend your knees right here, okay? So the fingertips are going to go straight out in front. Separate your feet about hip distance, so open your legs out a little bit wider than your hips. Now you're just going to row your right arm in towards your body, okay? Just like we did with that arm. You're not twisting towards it. You are staying centered to a wall or whatever's in front of you, okay? Then we're just going to send that arm straight. Good, then you just row the other side in. Now those weights that we talked about, if you would like, you can use your weights right here. I'm not going to be using any, but if you want to use them, feel free to use them, okay? Now just one more time, row in and out. Now pause right here for a second and have your arms go out to a T, okay? Now we are going to add rotation in right now, so I want you to keep your heels where they are, keep your sits bones where they are. You're not hiking your hips from side to side. And all we're going to do is just a quick slight rotation over to our right. When I say quick, I just mean that we're going to quickly do this exercise, not that you're doing this fast, okay? We're still doing this nice and slow. Good, now back to center, both arms out in front. And now rotate through your left side. Open out to the back to center. Let's just do one more to both sides. And I want you to feel though that you are not hiking your hips. You're not moving your hips as we do this, okay? So that's really important when we actually do the exercise here in a second, okay? I just want you to feel it in your body. You can rotate through your thoracic spine. You can rotate right there without hiking your hips. Now our knees are gonna bend again. Feet flat onto the mat. Fingertips out in front. You're holding your weights if you want them, okay? Arms are out in front. This time we're just going to round about a third, maybe halfway. If you want to go down to kind of that challenge area, that 2/3 of the way down, that's fine. Wherever you feel you want to go, just don't dump into your low back. You row your right arm back. You twist towards it without allowing your hips to hike. Keep your hips down. Come back to center. Lift all the way up to seated. Okay, now the other side. We round about a third, maybe halfway down. You row your left arm back. You twist towards it. My right arm stays reaching forward. It doesn't kind of go to a diagonal. Reach all the way out in front. And again, rounding about halfway down. Now pause. Make sure that both sides of your bottom stay down the mat. Don't hike from one side. Row that right arm back. Back to center. Lift all the way up. Exhale. And again, over to the left. Twist towards it. Exhale, come back up to center. And let's just do 2 more. Rounding down, twist towards that right side. And exhale to lift. Last time, over to the left side. Come back up. Rest the arms, grab your ankles. I want you to sit in a butterfly stretch. Just give your hips a nice little stretch for a second. So soles of the feet come together. Knees go wide, okay? So just allow them to stretch out. You don't need to round forward if you don't want to right now. Just allow the knees to rest for a second. Now draw them back together, feet flat back down onto the mat, and we're going to add on from this. If you want to do the previous exercise, it's a little bit nicer. That's totally fine, okay? If you want to add on, those fingertips are going to go straight out in front. We round about halfway or a third of the way down to the mat. Hold from there. You row your right arm back. You twist towards it. You exhale to come to center. You stay lower down here, and you twist over to our left. And back to center. Keep going side to side. Inhale as we twist. Exhale as we come back to center. Keep on going. Keep both sides of your bottom even down on that mat. We have 4 more. Make sure that as you're rowing, we're still rowing from between those shoulder blades back there. Slowly, one more time. Back to center, hands onto the sides of your legs, and round all the way down to the mat. Good. Now you're going to hug your knees into your chest, give them a nice stretch. So for those of us who have done reformer before, this is going to be, I'm sorry, not reformer, this is not reformer, the tower. So the Cadillac, the tower units, this is going to be like putting our feet in straps. So if you guys have that TheraBand, you're going to grab your TheraBand or your yoga strap right now. If you do not have one of those things, it's totally fine, but you will be doing the more challenging version of this exercise. And those of you guys with a yoga strap or with the TheraBand, you do not have to use it. It's going to be more challenging to be doing the version without it, okay? So we're going to lie down. I am going to show it first with a strap, and then I'll do it with you guys who don't have a strap, okay? So we're just going to loop that right onto the balls of the feet or right onto the arches of the feet, okay? All right, now, for those of us without a strap, you're going to put your hands behind your head, and you are curled up looking into your belly button, okay? Those of us with the strap, you can leave your head down, okay? Our heels are together and our toes are apart, and all you're going to do is just inhale to send the legs straight out away from the body. Exhale, pull the knees back and into your chest, okay? So all we're doing are our frogs, okay? Or it's like our footwork. So hands behind the head, or you keep your head down. If you decide you want to make it more challenging, if you want to ditch the yoga strap or ditch the TheraBand at any point, go for it, you guys, okay? So do whatever feels good in your body, okay? So we're just sending those legs out. You exhale to pull them back and into your chest. Inhale away, exhale, close. And now if you're doing the more challenging one and you decide that you want to revert back to with the yoga strap or with the TheraBand, that's totally okay too. Okay, so out and then in. And let's just do 2 more of these frogs. Now, if you have this, the TheraBand or the yoga strap, I want you to make sure that your chest isn't collapsing, okay? So make sure the collarbones stay really wide. Make sure that your the strap isn't controlling your arms to kind of round your shoulders forward, okay? Now, you pause with the knees bent into your chest, okay? Now, if you have the TheraBand or the yoga strap, you're going to walk your feet out a little bit wider right here, okay? So a little bit wider. This next exercise is going to be challenging if you have a strap like I do. If you have a TheraBand, it's going to be a lot nicer and easier to do this, okay? So the yoga strap is a little bit harder. Now, if you don't have one, that's totally okay too. Hands behind your head, we're curled up. We're going to add in some circles with these frogs, okay? So we're going to frog, we're going to straighten the legs out. You're now going to open your legs about hip distance and circle them up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bend your knees back and into your chest. And again, inhale out. Exhale as we open those legs, small little circle up towards the ceiling. Bend the knees back and in. Now, the bigger you do this circle, the more challenging this is going to be, okay? So the legs go out. If you do a big circle, it's going to be a little bit harder. Bend the knees in. Now, if you have that TheraBand, You're pressing out into that TheraBand as we circle, okay? So it creates a little bit of tension as we open and close back in. I would recommend not doing as big of a circle if you do have the TheraBand, okay? Let's just do one more this way. Out, circle around, close back in. We're going to reverse it, okay? So if our heads are down, we're going to be heels together, toes apart. Extend those legs up to the ceiling. Press into that TheraBand or press into that strap. You circle down. Feet come together, heels come together. You bend the knees back and into your chest, okay? So again, hands behind the head if we're lifting up. Extend the legs up to the ceiling. Open the legs just hip width. Circle them down, heels come together. Exhale, bend the knees back and into your chest, okay? And again, up to the ceiling. Open. Exhale, circle away. Bend back and in. Let's just do one more of these. Up with the legs. Open. Exhale, circle away. Bend the knees into your chest. Give them a stretch into your chest and rest all the way down for a second. Now again, if we have this band or the strap, heels together, toes apart, okay? They're wrapped around. If you are doing this without, your hands are still behind the head and you're curled up looking into your belly button, okay? We're going to lower our legs down to the 45. You exhale, bend the knees back and into your chest, okay? So it's kind of like the same thing we just did, but there's no opening and closing of the legs, okay? So reach those legs up to the ceiling. You lower the feet, you reach your legs into that strap, reach them into that TheraBand or away from you into the wall. Bend the knees back and into your chest. And again, up to the ceiling. Can you make sure that your tailbone is heavy down the mat? We're not tucking our pelvis, we're not moving our pelvis as we do this. Down and in. Now again, check in with your upper body. Check in with those collarbones. I want your armpits reaching down towards the mat and reaching down towards your heels. Down and in. And let's do two more. Up, lower, reach those toes away from you. Bend them back and into your chest. Last time, up to the ceiling. Reach the legs away. Bend the knees back and into your chest. Good. And let's reverse it. Those legs now go straight away from the body. You press into that strap. You exhale, reach them up to the ceiling. Bend the knees back and into your chest. Good. Out and away. Reach them up. Bend them back and in. Remember not to reach them too low if your yoga band or if your TheraBand won't allow it, so that we're not allowing those shoulders to cave forward. Make sure your ribs are still pulling down flush with your body. And let's just do two more. One more. Out. Pick them up. Bend them in. And rest there for a second. Hug the knees into the chest. You can rock from side to side. Good, and now we're going to add the full expression of our leg circles in, okay? So if at any point you decide these leg circles are not for you, you can revert back to that easier one that we did when we added the frog and the leg circles together, okay? So if we have the TheraBand, our legs are gonna go up to the ceiling. Good, you open, you press the legs out into that TheraBand just a little bit. They lower down about to the 45, they come together. You exhale to reach them up to the ceiling. If you do not have the TheraBand, you're doing what I'm doing right now. You're curled up looking into your belly button and you're circling those legs. Now remember, I don't want you circling the legs so low that we arch the back right here, okay? So we need to make really sure that if you feel this in your back, you're going too low, okay? So higher up to the ceiling, it's going to be a little bit nicer. Let's just do one more this way. Reverse it. Down, the lower you go, the more challenging it's going to be. Circle out to the sides and up to the ceiling. Now, I don't want you doing a wild, huge circle right here, okay? I want it with control, okay? So I'd rather have you doing a small circle or more like a small kind of rectangle as we do this. Use your breath, use your exhale to help you lift those legs up to the ceiling. And let's just do two more. And last one. Rest your knees into your chest. Give them a nice stretch for a second. And we just have one more exercise right here. Sorry, three more exercises right here. Sorry. Good. Our legs are going to go up to the ceiling. Your hands, again, are either holding into that strap or they go behind your head. We're curled up looking into the belly button, and we're going to lower our legs for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, you lift them back up to the ceiling on 1. Okay, so this is our double leg lower and lift. You lower, lower, lower. Exhale, you lift. And down, 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 and lift. Remember, if we're using that band, still don't let those shoulders round forward, okay? I'm just reminding you guys. Down and lift. Now remember, keep reaching your femur bones out of your pelvis as we do this, okay? So we're not trying to shorten our femur bones up and in towards us. We're reaching them away from us towards that wall. Last time, lower, 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 and lift. Pause from right here. If we have the band, like I'm using the yoga mat or the yoga band, it's gonna be harder. With the TheraBand, you will be able to do this, but we're going to start beating our heels together. Our legs are up to the ceiling. I want you to start doing small little beats, okay? Tiny beats. It doesn't need to be really fast right here, okay? So with control. Now, those of us who have done the Cadillac, I want you to imagine your feet are in the straps right now, okay? You're controlling the springs. The springs are not wildly shaking above you. And if that doesn't make sense to you right now, just ignore that cue, okay? So now we're going to lower the legs as we beat the legs, okay? So keep beating the legs, lowering. Exhale, lift them, keep on beating. Okay, so lowering down, lifting back up. And we're doing 3 more. Down, keep reaching those legs away from your body. Exhale, lift them up. If your hands are behind your head, you need your elbows wide. Do not allow your elbows to reach up towards the ceiling. One more time. Lower down. Pause that 45. Stay there and keep beating your heels. Keep on beating. Keep on holding. For 5, 4, 3, 2, exhale, lift them up to the ceiling. Rest, hug the knees into your chest. Our legs are going to go long across the mat. Fingertips reach up and overhead towards the back of the room. As we exhale, you bring them up to the ceiling, you round and lift all the way up to seated. Good job, you guys. We're going to get rid of the TheraBand, get rid of the yoga block, and we can grab our weights now. Okay, so if you have weights, that's great. I'm gonna do this without weights. You do not need weights to do this, okay, by any means. We're gonna go a little bit out of order from our class. So we're gonna be going through our classical rowing from the reformer, but we're going to go at it in a different order, okay? So we're gonna allow our hips to relax right here. So you're either sitting cross-legged, and I'm gonna turn and face towards you guys. We're either sitting cross-legged, or we can sit in that kind of butterfly position, or if you have a yoga block or like a bolster, like a pillow, you can sit on top of it right here, right now, okay? So our legs are crossed, crisscross applesauce. We're going to start with our hands right on top of our hips, and our palms are reaching up to the ceiling. Now, if you have your weights, your palms are up holding onto those weights. All we're going to do is imagine 2 imaginary kind of plates out in front of you. Lift those arms up. Good, and all you do is lower them back and down to the mat. Not down to the mat, down to your hips. Good. Out in front of you, away. And all the way back and down. Inhale to lift. Exhale as we lower. Good. Perfect, just like that. Out in front and down. Now remember, as we keep on doing this, I want you to think about where you feel this in your body. Okay, and it shouldn't be some like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. This is like right now. Okay, so this shouldn't feel like some kind of burning sensation. I want you to kind of feel it lightly underneath your armpits and your lats, and lightly in between your shoulder blades, your rhomboids. Okay, so we're reaching up slowly, lowering down slowly. Okay, let's just do 2 more. Out in front, lower down, and last one. Hold them up there. Keep them up there. Good. Now I want you to rotate your hands so that they're all the way reaching in towards one another. Our palms are reaching in. Now I want you to have them go in between both of those, okay? So you're going to have and hold your arms kind of on a diagonal, not all the way thumbs up and not all the way palms up either, okay? So it's all the way halfway between, okay? With that halfway between, you should feel a little bit more in your lats underneath your armpits. We're going to open the arms out to the sides as we inhale. Exhale, pull them all the way back and in towards one another. Okay, so this is like our hug a tree. Out and in. I don't want you rounding your arms right here. I don't want you making a roundness of the arms. I want you to have your arms a little bit straighter so that we can really feel that resistance coming in from underneath your armpits. Opening, and as we exhale to close, that's when we should be able to feel it in those muscles right there. Okay, so try to think about resisting as we close in and in. And let's do 2 more. Out and in. 1 more. Out and in. Now pause, keep the arms lifted. You're going to hinge forward ever so slightly. I'm not rounding forward. I'm hinging flat back forward. Reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Palms reach in towards one another. You send the arms up and overhead. Now you bend and straighten at your elbows. Okay, so shave the head. Bend the arms down. Have the gaze look down about 2 feet in front of you at the ground. If your hands are together, it makes it a little bit nicer. Okay, so bending and straightening. Now remember, stay lifted from your ribs to your hips, okay? So this isn't just about your arms right here. I want you to think about what is your belly doing. Are you still knitting your ribs in? Are you still pulling your ribs flush down with your body? Are you still pulling that belly button into your spine? Make your belly work. Are your shoulders lifted up towards your ears? I do not want you to let that happen. Let's do 2 more. 1 more. Extend the arms straight. Lower the arms down as you stack up tall. And now I want you to switch your leg that's crossed in front. If you have knee problems and this puts more pressure onto your opposite knee, you don't need to switch the leg, okay? So not a big deal. All right, so we're sitting right here. Our palms are now reaching up towards the ceiling on top of our hips, just like how we started. You have your weights or you don't have your weights. Totally up to you, okay? Now we're going to reach both arms out in front of you. Hold them there. I want you to just lower your right arm down to your hip. Reach it up to the ceiling. Good. Then just the left arm down and reach it back and up. Inhale as we lower that arm. Exhaling as we lift. Good. Keep on alternating arms. One arm goes down, then it lifts. Opposite arm goes down. Now I want you reaching, sitting with your arm, with your palms, somewhat up to the ceiling, okay? They're not all the way faced in towards one another. They stay reaching up, okay? You keep alternating sides. 1 in, 1 up. Now again, this movement is again still coming from those muscles underneath our armpits and from our back, okay? So our back muscles back there, not our low back muscles, probably from our shoulder blades and up, okay? Not our traps either. Stay relaxed with that upper back up there. 1 more time. Reach those arms out in front of you. Hold them there. Good. Now lift up really tall. Good. Now that hug a tree that we did before, okay? So our palms are somewhat kind of on a diagonal reaching in, and now you open just your right arm out to the side. Exhale, pull it back forward. Left arm out to the side and back forward. Now, as we keep on doing this, you are not rotating anything else in your body, okay? We're trying to really think. It is those lats and kind of a little bit of our shoulder muscles. I don't want you feeling burning though in your shoulder. If you are holding your weights right now and you feel a burning sensation in your shoulder, just put your weights down or lower your arms down a little bit more, okay? That helps get it out from there a little bit, okay? So opening and closing. And let's just do 2 more. And last one. Now pause with both arms forward. Keep reaching them up. Now you hinge forward again. You come forward slightly. You reach your arms. Palms reach in towards one another. Reach them back up towards the ceiling. Good. Bend your elbows again down behind your back, behind your head. And extend just your right arm up to the ceiling. Lower it down. And extend just your left arm up and down. Now make sure, again, we're pulling our belly in. We're not leaning, we're not rounding forward, but we're hinging purposely from that low belly. Make sure that your neck, make sure our head is not caved forward, my chin is not jutting forward. It stays in line with the body, okay? Good. Keep on going. And let's just do 2 more. And last one. Bend, and now straighten both arms up to the ceiling. Lower both arms as you stack up tall. And now we are going to straighten our legs out for our classical rowing, okay? So, sorry, not our classical rowing, but our rowings 1 and 2, okay? So first, into the sternum, into the chest. You're gonna hold your weights if you want. Again, you do not need your weights right now, but if you want them, you can have them, okay? So our heels are together, our toes are apart. We're now going to flip our grip so our palms face away from you, okay? So palms are away. Stacking up really tall. All we're going to start with is just rounding down towards the mat, just like we did in our roll-ups earlier. Then you exhale to round and lift to come back up to seated, okay? So nice and easy. We're just gonna do a few more of those, okay? So just rounding down. You can hold your weights or you can not hold your weights if you want to, okay? So choice is up to you. Good. And remember, as we're rounding down, we're not dumping into that low back down there. You stay lifted, then you lift back up to seated. One more time. Rounding down, hold there. Your arms are now going to extend away from your body. They're not going to straighten all the way. Then you pull them back and in towards your chest. Arms go out. You pull them back and in. Inhale away. Exhale as we close. And let's just do 2 more. Out and in. Last one. Out and in. You round to lift all the way up to seated. Okay, so now the full expression of this. We're rounding about halfway down. You pause. The arms are going to go out to the sides. Your palms face behind you. You dive forward right here. Remember, it's not a forward fold. You're rounding forward like your 100 curl. Pull your shoulders down your back. Send your arms behind you now. I don't want you to clasp your fingers, but you reach your hands towards one another in the back. Lift your arms up as high as you can from those triceps. Lift them up higher. Pull your belly in more. Exhale as you reach your hands to your ankles. And stack all the way up tall. We're going to do that 3 more times. Okay, so we're rounding down towards the mat. Pause from here. Set the shoulders down your back. Arms are out into a T. You dive forward, up and over. Don't let your hands move right here. Pull your belly in, pull the ribs in. Sink those shoulders down your back. Now reach the arms out behind you. Can you reach them up a little bit higher? Can you separate your hands so that you can reach them up higher? Reach them higher from those triceps. Reach higher, higher, higher. Then butterfly slowly, like the swimming stroke, around to the sides. Shoulders stay down the back. Pull the belly button into your spine. Reach the hands to the ankles. Exhale, stack all the way up tall. And we're doing that 2 more times. Rounding down. Arms out to the sides. Exhale, dive forward. Pull your belly in. Send those arms behind you. Reach those arms up higher, 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 higher. Pull your low belly in. Exhale the arms around. Stack back up tall. And last one. Rounding down. Set those shoulders down your back. Arms out to the sides. Dive forward. Lift up higher from your ribs to your hips as you come forward. Reach the arms up behind you. Reach them higher. Pull in, pull in, pull in from that belly. And butterfly the arms around. Reach the hands to the ankles. Stack back up tall. Your arms are now up in 90 degrees. Okay, so 90 degrees. First to start with right now, we are rounding down. We're not hinging back yet, okay? So I just want you to round down towards the floor, round back up. Okay, so let's just do this a couple more times. Rounding down. Rounding, lift your elbows ever so slightly, like a centimeter higher when you come back up. Okay, so one more time. Down. You lift. One more time. Round down there, hold. You bicep curl out and in with your arms. Out and in. Keep your low belly pulling in. Keep the inner thighs pulling in. Out and in. 2 more. Last one. And pause in 90, round to lift all the way up to seated. Okay, the full expression of our exercise now. Keep your elbows lifted, keep those shoulders down. round down towards the mat, you pause. You lift your arms up to the ceiling as you dive forward. The hands reach to your ankles. You pull your belly in, pull the ribs in. You hover your arms around the mat right now. You reach your arms up to the ceiling just like we did before using those triceps. Pull the belly in. Exhale, butterfly the arms around to the sides, hands reach the ankles. You stack back up tall in those 90 degrees, okay? So lifting up really tall. You round down towards the mat. Lift the arms up to the ceiling, dive forward, pull those shoulders down your back. Pull the belly in. Hover the hands around to the sides. They go around to the back. Reach those arms up higher. Butterfly the arms around. Reach the ankles. And let's do two more. 90 degrees. Shoulders stay down. Hinge back or round back. You lift your arms up to the ceiling as you come forward. Reach, reach, reach higher out of your back. Don't let yourself dump down into that back. Hover the arms. Reach the arms up higher. Butterfly around. Reach the ankles. Stack up tall. And one more. Hinging or rounding back. Reach the arms up to the ceiling. Dive forward. Hover the arms around to the sides. Reach the arms up back there. Pull your belly in. Pull the ribs in. Butterfly your arms around. Stack up tall. And now we are going to flex our feet. Toes are up towards your nose. Your hands are going to press into the sides of the mat on either side of you, okay? We can still have the weights if you want them, okay? If you want them, we can still use them. If not, we can be done with them, okay? So our hands are now pressing down. If you're holding your weights are pressing down to the mat, okay? So we're lifted up really tall. And now I want you to round forward to look into your belly button. Good. Good. Now keep your belly pulling in, keep your ribs pulling in. Remember, it's not a forward fold, it's our 100 curl right here. Now I want you to keep pressing your hands into the mat as they start sliding out in front of you. Keep pressing them actively and firmly down into the mat as they keep sliding. They keep sliding, they keep sliding. You can't keep that connection anymore. Now you lift them, you hover them so that they are parallel with your legs. You are still rounded forward looking into your belly button. You stack your head up, you stack your spine up, you stack your arms up to the ceiling. Exhale as you circle the arms around to the sides, and the hands end up down next to you onto the mat again. Now again, you round forward. Now I want you pressing firmly and hard into the mat. Now again, keep pressing firmly and sliding those arms out in front of you. I know it's more like scooching, at least on my mat, it's really sticky, but that's okay. Okay, so just keep the feedback pressing into the mat and kind of work them out in front of you. Then reach the arms up so that they're parallel to the legs. Pull in from your low belly, stack the spine up. Stack the spine or stack the arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, circle them around. And let's do one more. Press those hands down into the mat. Pull the shoulders actively down your mat. Keep your feet flexed up towards you. Rounding forward. Keep pressing your hands into the mat. Slide them out in front of you. Scooch them out, scooch them out, scooch them out. Then they can't press anymore. They lift up so that they're parallel with your legs. Stack the spine up. Lift the arms up. Exhale, circle around. Good. Now the hands are going to be underneath your armpits. This time your toes, your feet are pointed, okay? Last rowing thing right here, you guys, okay? So stack up really tall. You're going to reach your arms out in front of you, hold them there. You lower your hands, you tap your knuckles, tap the weights down to the mat, lift the arms up to the ceiling, and exhale again, grow taller as those arms go down towards the mat, then your arms bend, hands are underneath your armpits. Again, send those arms out in front of you, inhale. Exhale, lower them down to the mat, tap them down, reach them up to the ceiling, shoulders stay down, circle them out and around. Hands end up bent. Inhale, one more time. Out, reach them out. Pause from right here. Can you reach your knuckles or fingertips further away from your body, connecting into your belly without actually reaching your fingertips further away? I just want you to try to reach them further away. Now keep reaching them further away as you tap them down. Keep reaching them further away as you circle them up to the ceiling, around to the sides. And now you ditch your weights and you're going to sit butterfly again for a second and stretch those hips, okay? So just round forward towards your feet, okay? So don't force anything in your back or in your neck, okay? Let's just do one more deep breath all the way in. Then long, full, and complete exhale all the way out. And we're going to lie back down on our mat now. Okay, so we went totally out of order. We're going back to the beginning now. our single leg circles, okay? So our knees are going to be bent. Our hands are down on the mat on either side of us, and our right leg is going to go up to the ceiling, okay? So I know when I personally do this, I want to really rotate my pelvis in. You really have to try to reach your pelvis so that your tailbone is flat down there, not flat, but it's reaching down there towards the mat, okay? So right leg up to the ceiling, just lower your right heel so it taps down to the mat, and then pick it back up again. Inhale down, reach that femur bone out and away from your body. Exhale, pick it back up to the ceiling. And again, we're just lowering down and we're lifting back up. And let's just do 2 more. Last one. Good. Reach that leg up to the ceiling. I want you to hold it there for a second. Good. Now you're going to make small circles just about the size kind of a dinner plate, maybe not even that big, slowly up to the ceiling. Okay, so nice and slow. I want you to keep reaching your shoulder blades actively down the back and reach your fingertips towards your heels, okay, or towards your left heel that's down there on the mat. Reverse your circle. Slightly externally rotate your leg from your thigh bone, okay? So we're not just externally rotating our leg for the sake of externally rotating it. I want you to feel your femur slightly externally rotate into your body in order to help us get more into your glute and into your inner thigh. Now I want you to lower that right heel all the way down to the mat. And I want you to bend your right knee as you drag that heel across the mat. Pick it back up into tabletop. Extend it back up to the ceiling and lower that leg all the way down to the mat again and drag it across the mat. Once it reaches back in where the left knee is, then pick it up into tabletop, extend it up to the ceiling and lower it down, okay? So we're kind of making like leg circles right here, like when we have the straps on the feet on the tower. Okay, so one more time. Every single time I want you to try to reach that femur bone out and away from you. Pick that right knee up into tabletop and you reverse it. Plant the right heel down to the mat. Extend that leg all the way across your mat. Straight leg, pick it up to the ceiling. Bend it back in. Send that right heel down to the mat and extend it all the way straight. Good. Up, exhale. Bend it, plant it down. Let's just do one more. Pick it up, bend the knee, place your right foot down onto the mat. Now pick your left knee up into tabletop, extend it up to the ceiling. Good, now remember, slightly externally rotate it and make sure that we don't rotate our pelvis in, okay? So your low back is not shoved against the mat right here. Now you lower your left leg down to the mat, you pick it back up to the ceiling. And exhale. Inhale down, reach that leg further away from your body every single time. Pick it up to the ceiling. Keep lowering and lifting. Now make sure that the collarbones are wide. Make sure that your ribs are still knitting in, lowering and lifting. Now make sure that we're not moving anything else in our body as we do this exercise, so that when we add on right now, pause your leg up to the ceiling, start making small circles up there, okay, just the size of dinner plates. I want you to go slow. We'll make it harder in a few minutes. Now, can you make sure that as your left leg circles out to the side, your right thigh, your right knee is not like opening out towards your right? Can you make sure that your body is not overcompensating that way, okay? Now, the other thing is I want you to make sure that both sides of your armpits, both palms, both triceps are pressing evenly into the mat, not just one side versus the other. Reverse your circle. Good. I know that for me personally, one side is way different than the other side, so that's why I just want you guys to make sure that you're not doing what I'm doing. Okay, so pause up to the ceiling. Now you lower your left heel all the way down to the mat. You drag that left heel across the mat. The knee bends, you pick it back up into tabletop. Extend it up to the ceiling. Lower the heel down. Drag it across. Pick it back up. Inhale up to the ceiling. Exhale as you lower the leg and keep exhaling. Long exhale as you drag it across the mat. As you drag that heel across the mat, I want you to think it is from your posterior chain muscles, okay? Which just means that it's our hamstring, our glute, and a little bit of the calf as we drag that heel across and pick it up again. Let's just do one more. Lower down, drag it across, pick it up, reverse it. Lower that heel down to the mat, extend that leg across the mat, pick it up to the ceiling, bend it into your chest. Tap that heel down, extend it out there. Try to keep both hips even right here, so both hip bones up there, that we're not kind of reaching more from one hip bone as we extend that leg straight, if that makes sense. So just make sure that we're not hiking or lowering one hip up towards you. And let's just do one more. Heel down to the mat, extend the leg straight, lift it up to the ceiling, and lower it down. Now you're gonna keep both knees bent. Your right ankle is going to go on top of your left thigh. I want you to make sure that your ankle is all the way on there, not the side of your foot, so that you're not kind of overstretching into your ankle. And then I just want you to sink your left knee further away. Okay, so make sure that we're opening up that hip right there. Now your hands can go behind your left thigh, and we can pull that leg in for a deeper stretch right here. If that doesn't feel okay in your body, or if you have knee or hip issues, you don't need to add this part on. You can keep that foot down the mat. Okay, that's totally fine. Lower your left foot down to the mat, lower your right foot down to the mat, left ankle on top of your right thigh. Now again, make sure that your side of your foot and your foot isn't like reaching up towards you. Make sure that whole ankle is on there, even higher than the ankle, and then you sink your left knee down and away from you. Good, and again, don't move into pain right now, you guys. Just do this enough so that it feels good. Now hands can go behind your right thigh if you would like, and then you can pull that leg in towards your body. Good. All right, our left leg is going to go long across the mat. The hands are going to go behind your straightened right thigh. Okay, so right thigh is straight up to the ceiling, hands behind that right thigh. We're going to climb the tree, okay? So we're curled up looking into our belly button. We are going to walk the hands up the leg in order to reach us all the way up to seated. Good. Now, don't death grip onto the leg, light hands onto the calf, and you just walk the hands all the way down the leg. Good. And again, curling up, looking into the belly button, we walk the hands up the leg to reach us all the way up to seated. Good, and lowering all the way back and down again. And let's just do two more like that. Curling up, walking up, and one more time, lowering down. Last time, walking all the way up. Keep your leg lifted, stay up to seated, and I want you to now lower your right leg all the way down to the mat. Okay, so lower it all the way down, you're just seated. Your hands are going to go back behind you, and I want your fingertips reaching away from your body, okay? So the fingertips are reaching away. Now the lower down we go, if you go down onto your forearms, this is nicer, okay? It's easier down here, okay? So if we're up here, it's gonna be harder. Now from here, we're going to bend our knees in towards our chest, okay? So can. We're going to keep our toes down on the mat. So toes are down, rest the balls of your feet all the way down for a second. You're going to let both knees go over towards your left. You reach your right hip just a little bit off of the mat, your right, not your hip, but your bottom. You come back to center and you reach both over towards the right. Back to center, okay? Over towards your left. Back to center. I'm gonna do this facing you guys, and over towards your right. Good. One more time. Over to your left. Now pause and center. You're going to reach both legs over to your right and pause. You're now going to extend both legs up towards the ceiling. Bend both knees, toes are down there on the mat. Let both knees rock over to the left. Back to the right, over to the left, hold right here, Good. Reach and extend those legs up to the ceiling. Bend the knees. Over to the right. A little bit faster. Over to the left. Over to the right. Extend those legs up. One more time. Over to the left. Over to the right. Over to the left. Extend those legs up there. Bend the knees. Have the legs come back to center. Come all the way up to seated. Extend those legs out in front of you. Grab onto the calf of your left side and reach it up to the ceiling. I said that really weird. Grab onto your left calf. That was a very strange description. Okay, so reach up to the ceiling. We're climbing the tree on the left side. Walking the hands down the leg, you lower all the way down. As we exhale, you curl up, look into the belly button, and you walk those hands back up the leg. Good, and again, lowering down and walking back up. Good, and let's just do 2 more. All the way down, all the way up. And last time, you go down, you come back up, and you stay seated. Last exercise, we're going to move our bottom to the front of our mat now, okay? So bottom moves to the front. We're going to end with seal, okay? So our hands come into prayer hands. You're going to dive your hands between your ankles. Your hands wrap around the top of your feet. Your toes are together. You lift those knees up and in towards you. Your knees are framing your chest. They're not really wide out to the sides. They're framing the chest. You tap your toes together 3 times. 1, 2, 3. You roll all the way back to your shoulder blades, then all the way back up to seated, okay? Tap at the top. 1, 2, 3. I don't want your toes hitting the ground as we do this. 1, 2, 3. Let's just do 1 more like this. Stay seated. Now I want you to tap the whole way back and tap the whole way up. Okay, so tapping back, tapping to lift, lowering and lifting. 1 more time like this. All right, so for our last one, I always like to think of this as like the party trick of Pilates. You're going to go back there. You're going to unclasp your ankles. You're going to cross your ankles, and we're going to try to come all the way up to standing, okay? If you can only roll to like your feet, don't try to force yourself to come up, okay? Just roll at your feet, then come all the way up, okay? So back there, unclasp, cross the ankles. We come all the way up to standing, ta-da! And we're all done. Great job, you guys. It was wonderful to see all of you. And I hope you guys have a fabulous Tuesday.